everybody, welcome to Juma Game Reserve this afternoon, and unfortunately the clouds didn't disperse this morning. I'm hoping they are going to stay high. Hoping we're not going to get any rain until later on this evening if we are going to get rain. But the clouds do look quite high, so fingers crossed we shouldn't get any rain for drive. My name's Tara, joining me on camera this afternoon is Mark, and back in final control is Sebastian. Just before we get going, I've been sitting on this postcard, and I'm very sorry, Virginia, because yours actually came in quite soon, but it's been in my room for the last couple of weeks, so I'm very sorry about that. But this is the postcard from Virginia from Texas. Quite an interesting postcard, and obviously one of those skills that is actually
there's
used.
Mark in the background.
Yeah. Which one?
There, in the background. In the shadows.
Oh, so not even on the horse?
I'm not a cowboy.
So thank you very much, Virginia, giving us best wishes from Texas. As I say, I do apologise, it was my fault. It's been in my room for the last few days. And I just wanted to show the postcard that was given to me by the Pondies when I was over in the UK. And I pulled a blonde moment on myself. Everything, it was ready to go in my bag.
Wait, you know,
in my diary.
Sorry. Its background is the same as the postcard. It looks like a tiger coming out of the grass.
Awesome.
Okay, sorry I interrupted.
There you go, tigers in Africa. But yes, in London I was given this postcard, and I was almost had it over here in South Africa, but I forgot my diary on my sister's couch actually. The day I left for the airport, and I only realised halfway through to the airport and realised that I hadn't got my diary and I had left the postcard behind. So just to show everybody, I do have it now. She posted it to me. So thank you very much to all the Pondies who signed that for Colin to give to me. So there you go. 2 more postcards. But without further ado, let's jump on board, because I just heard via the grapevine that we might find something special around by Buffelshoek Dam. So I'm going to keep it a surprise. Hopefully we'll find it. But I would like to head back to where we saw Karula, because that was actually, I was going to head there, and then literally I just happened to bump into Tristan, and he told me about it, because I think they went out for a bumble sometime this morning after we came back from drive. So with any luck, weather like this, hopefully we should be able to find it. And then we'll head back to where Karula left the cubs on Triple M, see if we have any luck with them, and maybe even Karula herself. But I think in this weather she probably would have moved on from where we left her. I'm thinking she probably was quite hungry. She was twitching her tail with excitement, just like a little cub does. But very special this morning, seeing a baby elephant. It was tiny. I hope you got to see it on the waterhole camera later on. It looked like the whole herd was moving that way. So we're going to take Twin Dams, Chelapan Road, past Chelapan, sorry, and onto Nyala Road south, onto Nyala Road north, and head up towards Buffelshoek. And I think Fabienne, one of the other viewers, should be either here or making her way here. I'm pretty sure she should be here at the lodge by now. Luna we also met just after we closed down. We actually drove over to where they were and said how's it while Karula was sitting above us. It's quite surreal. bit chilly this afternoon. And thank you once again to everybody who sent in their Who Dung It scores. I've had a couple more since the other day, so I sent off all the certificates. So well done everybody. Thanks for sending your scores through. And I think actually Trisha attempted all of the questions. She's the only person as far as I know that actually attempted all of the questions. And she got 27 out of 34. So well done Trisha. And then not too far behind her was Luann with 27 out of 33. So that's about 82%. But certainly Cheryl Ann and Raisa, top of the class as well with 100%. Cheryl Ann getting the most out of, or 33 out of 31. She actually got a couple of the bonus questions right as well. And Raisa was 28 out of 26. So definitely awesome scores. I will have to see about doing round 2 at some stage. Have got their heads down. I'm going to see if we maybe will be able to see them from the other side. So we tried this side this morning. I don't know if we'll get any better view of them on the other side, but we can try. Bushbuck, you're hiding. Oh, Bushbuck gone. Such a shy antelope. But if there's actually a lot of movement of people around, they actually do relax very quickly, very easily. If you go into Kruger to Letaba, there's a lot of bushbuck just roaming around. Tell you what, let's take Vulture's Nest instead then. And I couldn't believe how relaxed relaxed they were, just around people. They were just walking around the camp and just walking right up to you, actually, being quite cheeky. Absolutely incredible. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, at least you can see one vulture. I was hoping we'd try and have a nice view of the nest, which actually I think we can have a nice view. That ghost bird is still calling from this morning.
Okay, what's that below? Stick again.
And mum or dad is still deciding Chick is too young to be on TV. Don't want to corrupt it as yet. I see the other one just below, actually. I know. I thought I just saw movement, but it's actually just a Birchall starling sitting underneath it. Oh well, it's worth a try. I was hoping she might, or he or she, might scooch around and show us the baby. Nothing from this side. See a few sticks. If anybody out there would like to send through a question this afternoon, all you need to do is send it through to questions@juma.com. questions@juma.com. As we're driving around Juma Game Reserve in the world famous Sabi Sands. This is actually broadcast live. And it blows my mind when I think about it, I can tell you. Even now, after doing this for a year and a half, or over a year and a half, the fact that we can be driving around in the African bush in South Africa and have, actually have people across the world coming together and watching the safaris and actually making friends through Wild Earth and Juma. As I say, we've got Sulina, who I'm eager to get to know a little bit better. She's staying at Voyatella at the moment. And just the pure fact we saw Karula this morning, who is probably one of the most charismatic animals. Very special lady. But we're still waiting for the big rains to arrive. Even though we had a huge electrical storm the other night, there wasn't too much rain that came with it. I was hoping the heavens were going to open. They Didn't really happen. Kept threatening. Maybe I should start giving you some clues as to what might be around before sundown. The animals we don't see very often. We've been seeing them more recently than not. I think the animals that people would like to see more often. Usually you'd find them sleeping this time of day. But with it being quite cloudy, they can become more active, may even go and find food. Tracks. Sorry, seem more what activity? Ah, hi Deborah. Good afternoon to you. Welcome on board. Just wanting to know, have we seen more snake and tortoise activity in the last few days? And there has. I think you guys saw the first tortoise of the season, hey? A few days ago.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Although we've seen tortoise tracks.
So certainly with the warmer temperatures, although today is a bit of an exception, but with the warmer temperatures of spring and going into summer, we are going to be seeing even more reptile activity. Been seeing more of the lizards, a lot more snake tracks around. So I wonder if anybody's guessed what it is yet.
I've nailed it down to 3. 2 I've ruled out by your... Not ruled out.
Anthony! Hi Anthony! Good to hear from you as well. Wondering what bird was calling in the background. That was the ghost bird, Anthony. Grey-headed bush shrike. If I can actually whistle. I couldn't whistle this morning. No, can't whistle. Gotta wet my whistle. No, I can't whistle for some reason this afternoon. Oh, that's bad. So Mark's saying he's narrowed it down to 3. Sorry, I had Sebastian whispering in my ear.
At first I thought there were only 2 possibilities, but your last statement made me think there might be another one.
So which ones did you think?
First I thought Nagats was Kankan.
Ah, okay. Mark thought either cheetah or wild dog. And your third one?
And then I started thinking, well, I mean, I was thinking to myself, there's no way they'd still be there because it's daytime like this. And then you started saying about usually they'd be sleeping now, but in this weather they might be moving. And then of course included Goni.
Aha! Mark's hit it on the nose. I wonder if anybody else has. And I am hoping they're still going to be there.
I don't know if anybody knows what Gonis are.
We'll soon find out. I am really hoping they're still there. And they are doing something that you don't get a chance to see very often either, if they are still here. We have seen it once over a few days.
At least 3 times.
I was going to finish. I've seen once over a few days since being here. But I'm sure we would have seen on Wild Earth a few more times. I've seen on my other reserve a few times. Seb's got it. John! Nope, not talking about wild dogs. Sadly, I would like it to have been wild dogs. Not talking about wild dogs. Hi Becky, welcome on board this afternoon. Where's Becky from? Ah, Becky doesn't say where she's from. Welcome on board, Becky. Hope you're well.
There's waterbuck. We're talking about waterbuck.
Yeah, I was talking about waterbuck.
Maybe I saw the waterbuck and I got the catch. Hungry work doing waterbuck.
There's the hard so ground. Brain and gear. Ground is so hard around here. But Becky, wanting to know, do animals mate with the offspring? And they can do. But nature tries to work out, or tries to avoid that. So you usually get the males leaving the area to avoid mating with the siblings. And can you see them?
I think so. I'm remembering my banner. There's something very lion-coloured.
I thought I saw. I thought a pretty tat.
Go back. Let me use your banner a bit. I have it.
shouldn't. That could have been what I was just looking at. Any more?
Stop. Now it doesn't even look that colour because now I've seen what it is.
I think it's the same thing as I stopped for.
Yeah, it's ground.
Yeah, termite
Sorry, I
mound.
screwed your lenses into my glasses. Hippos are here.
Hmm?
We're talking about hippos.
Yes, I'm talking about hippos. Definitely talking about the hippos. The river horse. Hippopotamus.
I've actually looked at that
Hippopotamus.
mound of sand before, thinking.
River horse. It's actually Greek for river horse. Maybe we should have a race through here. How about if we climb off the Gunda and we just run?
Okay, you go that way, I'll go this way.
Flush them out.
Mark, you said go. Yeah, running fast. Go to the cut line and come back and sit if they're doing
Mobile station, vous en appelez plus?
Good afternoon. Mobile around Buffelshoek Dam. Coming from Kristen. There is some gala here. Just busy looking for them at the moment.
Yeah, then look at them, yeah?
And negative. We just sit on the western side.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I'm coming along Central and Yala North.
Copy that. Ah, Sue, and the action as well. Well done, Sue. Sue's got it right. Oh, I was in the middle of answering Becky, wasn't I? So Becky, yes, that's why I usually get males dispersing away from their natal area. Although in some species, the females will disperse. Like gorillas, apparently the females disperse. Wild dogs, females tend to disperse. But you usually get one or the other of the sexes dispersing. Although, if a father mates with a daughter, it's not usually detrimental. You usually start to get problems if you get inbreeding further down the line. So if you have the father and the daughter and then maybe the father with the offspring, or even further down the line than that, that's usually when you have problems. So a father with a daughter is it's not brilliant, but it's not usually detrimental. I'm going to have a look down here, but I don't think they'll be that far away. Ah, there we go. Lucky, lucky, lucky.
Stop, car. Step back a little bit and just catch them on the ridge before we go to them.
Oh, Steenbok. Stations, I've got Lockers and Gala on Buffelshoek cut line.
A little bit further back.
Thanks, Stella. I'll come and join you.
Okay. Mark, do it.
Good afternoon. I've just got a lock of Bengala on Buffelshoek cut line.
Okay, thanks, man. I'll come that side now. So I'm leaving at the camp now. I will come to the depot. Looking from combat as well. If you book up them, just let me know. I'll find four for you.
So Sue, right with the lions, and it's a mating pair. I've been told it's Matimba and Nkuhuma. I wonder if they have just mated. Okay, I want to try and get a little bit closer because I have a feeling we're going to be bombarded with vehicles. So I actually thought maybe they might be lying in that little ditch there.
Trim over. Okay. Trim over to the place. So trim over from this side. Yeah, trim over to the place this afternoon as well.
Oh, lots of vehicles out as well.
Trim over, not three. Trim over. So trim over. This side. I shall do.
Sorry, I was listening to the radio then, but good afternoon to you, Mary Jane. And Seb can just repeat, I think you were talking about Karula. If you can just repeat the question for me there. Oh, okay. Okay. So, Mary Jane just wanting to know, why does Karula stay close to the humans? Does she feel that it's safer for the cubs? And it's not that she stays close to the humans all the time. It just happens to be that humans are leasing the area from her. This is her territory. And it's part of her territory, so as much as she's around the lodge, she's elsewhere on the property. And say at the moment, she's utilising the west. She's been in the south for about 2 weeks apparently. So it's not like she utilises the area more than any other place, but I think she could possibly utilise that area, sort of thinking maybe there is some safety, some extra safety. I mean, it sometimes does feel like we're babysitting, but I think it's just more us wishing that than anything. But especially the donga behind the camp, I think has got a big. So I'm just sort of trying to keep one ear on the radio as well. But it's got a good lot of hiding places in that donga, or the drainage line at the back. So I think it's possibly that drainage line that draws her to camp, rather than the fact that there's a lot of human activity there. But there could be an element of that, and possibly because she does find food there as well. I mean, you've got the antelope that may utilise that area, thinking that it's a little bit safer because of all the human activity, but she also will be drawn there because of the antelope. But I think certainly where the lodge is, I think, has a lot to do with it.
I'll do the radio.
Now, the male lions might not always stay with the females, and the fact that we've got the male and female very close together, the fact that it looks like they are on their own. Maybe there might be other males in attendance, but they won't rival him for a chance to mate with the female.
Yeah, it takes time to go to the cut line at the quarry. Yeah, so I'm not at the dam. Yeah, the Dengala, I'm with Tara.
And it is quite a lengthy business, and quite an energetic business. I mean, they will mate every 15 minutes or so, give or take, for a few seconds, and that can carry on for 3, 4, sometimes even 5 days, depending on the pair. So I wonder how long this pair has actually been mating for, because I have seen pictures from guests. I didn't realise this is where they were. Don't know if they've been maybe just over Buffalo's Hook cut line, because we're actually literally just on our northern boundary. So it could be they were just over the boundary and out the way for us, and they've just made their way down to Buffalo's Hook Dam to maybe go and drink. Chinese whispers going on here.
How many times I got it to on the cut line?
Yeah, stations, the lock is actually on the cut line itself, and just by the quarry. It's myself in the lock, Texan and Aubrey are on approach. Abel on approach. So the Matimbas are the new boys in town. They took over this area just before we went on leave, actually. I think it's been about 2 months or so that they've been kind of ruling the roost here. And they chased the Majingilans out. The Majingilans being 4, Matimbas are 5, aren't they? 6, it is 6. So the Matimbas are 6, chasing the Majingilans out of the area. They didn't put up much of a fight, apparently. But they've run off down to the south. The Sticks females who have mated with them, and I think that was actually quite a grisly business as well. I mean, unfortunately the Majingilans were found to have killed at least 1 female, possibly 2. But the Sticks females eventually gave in and started mating with the Majingilans. But they're now down in Londolozi, which is south of where we are. And I think that really opened up this area for the Salala females. It's the first time I've seen that pride in this area in the 1.5 years or so that I've been here. The Unkahumas do utilise this area, and they have been utilising a lot more now. Standing by. I'm really hoping we might see them mating before we have to leave. But the Unkahumas did mate roughly this time. No, let me think. When did they mate with the Kojimas? No, it was earlier on this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Earlier on this year, the Kojima males, and they did have cubs by those males. So I don't know what's happened to the cubs. I don't know if they're still around with the other females, or whether, unfortunately, the Matimbas have killed them. Because unfortunately, when males do take over a territory, they quite often will kill small, young cubs.
That was the night you saw the buffalo get killed. That's when they started.
That's when they started.
Mel and I came to
think,
do them in the moonlight.
Was it March?
No, it could have been.
So it was still when it was raining, because you guys got rained on, didn't you?
Yeah, and we got stuck, but that must have been because we saw those cubs on that wildebeest kill. Wasn't that in March, February or March?
I think it must have been around then. Yeah. Maybe someone can check on the date for us when we did see.
Funny how it all becomes a blur, but not not in a bad
dates.
way.
Dates don't stick in my head.
I can remember the incidents clearly, but I
same.
can't place when it was. I know it was summer.
So as I say, unfortunately the males quite often will try and kill the cubs. Sometimes the females will defend the cubs, sometimes they know there's no use. Again, it will just depend on the individual female. And they'll quite often do this to actually get the females back into estrus. I hear a car. But yes, unfortunately, to get the females back into estrus, if they do kill the cubs, it'll obviously change the chemicals in the lioness's body. She's no longer feeding the cubs, she's no longer lactating, and maybe 2 or 3 months after the cubs have been killed, she'll then be ready to mate. And this is why, unfortunately, they're more likely to kill them so that they can get the females into estrus so they can mate and have their own cubs. Whereas if they leave the cubs, it can take 2.5 years before a female is ready to mate again.
And in that time, the male's normally lost his tenureship.
Exactly. Because
It's got to happen as soon as the males take over. That's why it becomes important when he's got to kill the cubs. It doesn't have much time to protect them to maturity. I'm hoping with another vehicle coming, I might lift their heads.
yeah, I see the other vehicle there. So unfortunately, lion life, it's up and down like a yo-yo. I mean, they go through peace and then extremely rough, and it can be an average of just 2 or 3 years that they can actually hold on to a territory. And that's why it's important for males to try and mate with the females and have their own cubs as soon as possible before they do actually lose that territory.
That's western entrance to Gary Dam on the Baboon cut line.
Affirmative. As I say, very tiring. And they will go through the day and night. Hello.
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 How are you, Sarah?
Good, good. How are you doing? Looks like one of the younger males, actually. Quite nice if he can lift up his head, because there's 2 males who have got a very dark mane, and the 4 males who are quite golden in their manes, and it looks like he's got a lot of gold there. Hi, Patty. Good afternoon to you. When will we expect the babies? Well, if he is successful with the mating, then 100 days, give or take a few days, but roughly around 100 days gestation period. But you're not likely to see them unless you really are very lucky. There has been on occasion guides have witnessed the birth. But usually the female will give birth and keep the cubs well hidden because they are small and vulnerable, and you're not likely to see the cubs before 6 weeks old. Again, give or take a couple of weeks. Could be more, could be 2.5 months, it could be less, just depends. But they usually do keep them hidden until they are a little bit stronger and they're able to actually go with the pride. And quite often the female will break away from the pride and then join them to go and eat and to hunt, and then go back to her cubs. Sometimes she'll have a babysitter, sometimes it'll be her daughter taking care of the cubs while mum's away. So every circumstance is different. Certainly like she's claiming there. She's got a paw on. This is my male. and he will only be allowed to mate if she's willing. If she's not, and he tries, he's gonna get quite a big paw coming at him. Texan, come in. Was there any other station interested in the Ngala lock at this stage? Hi Ed, good to hear from you. And you are correct, the front paws are larger than the back paws. And just like the hyena and many other animals, the hyena actually has the largest difference. If you can think about the way a hyena looks, very small back, very large front, they have a lot of weight on the front. But many animals actually have the same scenario, but to a lesser degree. So the front paws are generally larger than the back paws because they're carrying so much more weight, and especially with the male, he's carrying the weight of the mane, and that mane can be quite heavy. You've got all that massive hair, and they've got all the muscle, they've got all the strength that they need for pulling down an animal. They use the teeth, they use the claws on the front, and they can pull, use the back feet sometimes, but it's generally the front, so it's going to be very muscular. And especially when we're tracking, that's one of the ways you can actually tell if it's a front or back pad. Front pad tends to be circular, back pad tends to be fairly oval. And as I say, that's kind of true for most animals. Elephants also, a round front foot, and oval back foot, slightly smaller. Giraffe, you're going to see a slightly larger hoof and pointed, rounded at the front. At the back, you're going to have a slightly smaller hoof and very pointed. Wildebeest also. There's probably some of the smaller carnivores, you're not really going to see that size difference that much. Civet also shows a very nice difference in the track. Round front foot, oval back foot. Hi Minerva, good afternoon to you. And a question that I've been trying to do a bit more research on. Abel, come in. Abel, are you still making your way to the Ngala?
Yes, I'm running now. I'm making the...
Copy. Can you just let me know when you're close to Buffelsug Dam? I'll pull out for you. But Minerva's wanting to know, will lions go and hunt during the few days that they're mating? And generally that's what they're focused on, is just mating. Generally they won't go off and actually go and hunt. But if the food happens to be there, I think they possibly would eat. I'm sure I've seen it once, but I was actually asking a friend of mine who was on the same reserve if she remembers the lions eating, because it's one of these memories. It's so long ago, and I remember food being there, and I'm just trying to rack my brains if I actually remember seeing that the pair actually feeding. And I think I do, but I really can't remember, and she couldn't remember either. But again, I think it's just one of those, if the circumstances are right and they're hungry, probably yes. But if there's nothing else around, if there's no food sort of on tap, the whole focus is actually mating. And remember, lions do work on the full and empty system, so they will feed until they're almost fit to burst, and then they'll go and sleep it off for a few days, and they won't need to hunt for another 4 or 5 days sometimes, depending on how full they are.
Can we maybe go around the front of them?
So I was hoping they were going to wake up sooner rather than later. Sorry, who was that from? Me again. Standing by?
Not I confirm that the lock is physically on the opposite sky cat it's not inside wires at all.
It's on Buffelshoek cut line, not close to Gary cut line, close to the road that goes to Buffelshoek West.
Okay, copy. Confirm it's a full lock now. Can I take first time off?
Affirmative.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sil. Sil saying that it was July the 21st we saw the Matimbas for the first time. Hi, Monty. Shalom, good to hear from you. Wondering if there's any significance to the female putting the paw on the male. It's funny that when they are going through the mating for a few days, they do have this bond where they do want to be either touching each other or, you know, sort of being as close to each other as possible, especially the male. If the female moves, the male will usually try and sit on top of her. or sit near her until she starts getting a little bit tetchy and she tells him to go and sit elsewhere. But it's one of those things that the tactile communication is very important in lions. And, you know, you'll see the pride members or even the coalition also sitting on top of each other, and you know, they'll have paws here, there and everywhere. So it's a way of strengthening the bonds between the family, but as I say, while they're mating, it'll also help to strengthen that bond between the pair. I don't think she was really saying he's mine. I don't think there's anybody else around. What a face. Needs an alarm clock. He's overdue. But as I say, it is give or take. It's not on the dot. Some males you can actually set your watch by. Male on my old reserve, you could literally set your watch by him. It would be 15 minutes and boom. There you go. But Becky, I haven't got to your question yet actually. Becky in Texas, as we were moving around. Look at that beautiful pink nose. Still quite young. But Becky wanting to know, are we scared getting so close to the animals? And we're not scared, Becky. There's no reason to be scared of the animals. One thing you've got to remember, sometimes we look like we're getting much closer to the animals than what we actually are, because we've got a very, very powerful zoom on the camera. So at the moment we're actually sitting, let's say, a good 30 meters from them, 25, 30 meters. Sometimes you will get the animals coming close to you, but it's up to them to come to you rather than you go to them. If I was to actually get as close to them as what they have been to us in the past, you would find very upset lions. You know, you'd either get them running away or snarling at you and telling you to back off. But sometimes you can actually get them walking right next to the vehicle, like half a meter away, but that's on their terms. It's up to them to do that.
Vultures far up in the sky.
Oh, is that what she's looking at?
Yeah.
I was wondering what she was seeing. Oh yeah, I see them now. As I say, it's difficult to say how long they've been mating for. It could be they're coming to the end of the mating, and that's possibly why he's not mating her as often. And one of the reasons why they do need to mate so often is the actual act of mating will stimulate the release of an egg. So the female won't release eggs until she's started to be mated by the male. And the male's penis actually has barbs on it, like many other cats. And as he withdraws, those barbs are actually quite painful, and as he withdraws, that actually helps to release the eggs. So the eggs might not be released for the first day or so. I think she might. There was a little steenbok running around at the back there. I wonder if that's what she's looking at now. Hi Donna, good afternoon to you and welcome on board the Gander this afternoon. I'm wanting to know, why do they have so much hair on their elbows? And the mane itself, that serves a couple of purposes. but they actually have a lot of hair over the neck especially, and the chest area, and then that's actually to form protection for when they are fighting. So around the chest area, and that's what the hair that you're actually seeing sort of around the elbows. But when they are fighting, you know, it's just almost like a cushion before the opponent gets to the neck. And that's one of the ways the female can actually see how fit her partner is. Because if the male has gone through a few fights and still has his mane, obviously he's going to be quite a strong individual. If he's sick, he starts to lose his mane. If he's malnourished, he'll start to lose his mane. So if he's in good condition, he'll have this beautiful, long, full mane. It's also an indication of how old they might be as well. And they have actually found that the females are more likely to choose males who have got darker manes than those with golden manes. They seem to prefer those males with darker manes. So they do have a say in who they mate with, if they have a choice. And quite often the males won't fight amongst themselves. Quite often the males in a coalition are brothers, so it won't really matter who gets to mate with the female because they all share the same genetics. So there's usually very little fighting when it comes to the females. Standing by.
Confirm anything, did you open
Lutu. And nothing happened. Yeah, they're taking their time. Hi Judy, over there in Georgia. Good afternoon to you, a warm welcome to Juma Game Reserve this afternoon. I'm wanting to know, do lions mate for life? And no, they don't, Judy. And sometimes if the females are in a territory or in an area where it's been taken over by other males, quite often her youngsters from a previous mating and a different father might be killed by new males coming in. And an area, a territory, is very rarely held on for longer than a couple of years, a few years. Depends on how big the coalition is and how strong they are and how strong the competition is. It is possible that an area can be taken over after a few months. Jackman. And what's your lock now?
Just north of Leopard Road, that little two-track that cuts through to Mamba Road.
Okay, copy. I'm just waiting to see. I'll give them a few more minutes just to see if they're going to do anything. Abel was on his way here, but if he doesn't mind you coming in first, I'll make space for you.
No, that's alright. Abel is in front of me. So yeah, no, let Abel come in. I'll wait till any of the other station pulls up.
Okay, copy.
Oh, you're gonna have to move. You found
That's
me.
alright, I'm on the bounder now.
Okay, copy. I've got your visual. We're just waiting there. Mafazi's just got a head up. I just want to wait for another couple of minutes to see if they're going to do anything, and I'll pull out for you.
I'll drive around to the bit so you can copy.
Will do. And so there is a couple of other vehicles, so we'll make space for them and we'll see if we can come back in a little while. I just want to see with her having a head up if he's going to be interested to mate with her or not. Hi Steve in Boston. Good afternoon to you. Wondering if it's true that females do most of the work when bringing down the prey, and it is a bit of a myth that males don't hunt. Males will join in a hunt, especially for large prey, and if the males are with the female pride. So it is possible that there's more than one pride within a male's territory. But they are able to mate to hunt for themselves. The males may pull down a buffalo by themselves, but if the females are there, and especially if there's been a lot of activity with the males on the boundary and things like that, sometimes you will find that the males don't help and they actually wait for the females to finish the hunt and then come in and take their share. And that's them actually preserving their energy for defending their territory and for mating as well. So it will just depend on the circumstances. We've seen where females are actually chasing a buffalo and they bring it down, the males are nowhere to be seen until they've actually finished. But then the females maybe, there was a kill that happened not so long ago where the females were actually assisted by males. I think everybody's waiting to see if they are going to mate. Hi Jennifer, and good afternoon to you. And saying about the nose being a bit pink, could it be that she's not been mated before? Maybe this is her first mating. And it's not as pink as, I'd say she's probably about maybe 3 or 4. And the sides are very black. I can't remember how old the Unkahuma females are. It's been a while since I've seen them. Oh, are you going to wake up, mister?
Watching vultures.
No. See, it could be that she's hungry, and if she's watching vultures, it could be that she goes to investigate where they're going, and he'll just follow her. He's also spotted them now. But Dad, it's a first mating. I think she has been mated before.
The vultures dropping out of the sky.
Okay, well, let's let the other vehicles in. We'll go and have a wander down there, see if there's anything else going on.
That's way in before the money.
Yeah, but I'm going to let the other guys have a look. Abel, come in. Abel, I'll make space for you. As much as I don't want to leave them. But as I say, we'll try and come back. Do a bit of a drive around.
Have to get up. There, now she gets up.
Yeah.
Just hang on top.
Abel, what's your look? We're going to have to leave them. Abel, come in. Yeah, the slowly mobile north, I think you need to just try and get in if you can. Copy that. There was Lutu that happened, but they are mobile north now into Buffalo. too thick. It looked like she was looking at some of the vultures in the sky. I say, as much as I didn't want to leave them, I say, especially when you've got a pair like that, you want to see the mating, but it isn't fair just to keep the sighting as well. So hopefully he's going to be able to see them.
Space for 2, Andrew lock.
Jog Jockman.
Standing by, I guess I can move in now.
Copy, just checking you heard. So if they have gone into the Buffalo's Hook,
Coming down now.
then we are not going to see them.
That's not that far in, are they?
Can cheetah planes go into Buffalo's Hook? They can, can't they?
One at a time.
Yeah, so that's fine, and they won't lose
We
them
can all
all.
go there, we don't even can't. The vultures are coming in fast. Furious.
Yeah, it's still quite far in though. I was
Yeah.
hoping maybe it would be somewhere along here. They are
Still, that's
still...
where she knows exactly, almost, yeah, I can see them now, just above the tree line, 100 yards in, 200 yards in. But I don't think those guys even realize it. I suppose if they follow the line, they'll get there. I can see vultures now in the trees on the skyline.
Could be the rest of the pride are in there.
Could be.
Could well be if they've made a kill. Now they're going north. They're carrying them going. So I think we definitely made the right call in going to see them first.
I think there's my cody going down. I can see some inside buffalo, but I'm sure that the guy is going straight towards me.
I'm sure I forgot that's my question. Did you contact Andrew? So I did put on my phone boyfriend, somebody
Yeah, even as close as something big in there.
Right here, I can see you in the bush there. Is that big come or go the other side?
I reckon the rest of the pride must be there. And they've killed something big there. Forgot we'll have signal break up here. So close, and this is why you don't see it very often. But yes, I really wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the pride are there. They broke away, a bit of privacy, gone for a drink. But if the pride are there and if they have killed something, then it might actually answer Minerva's question and the question that's been asked. Will they eat while they're mating? As I say, if there is actually food there, I can't see why they wouldn't. And if she's hungry, There's vultures coming down. Maybe she knows there is food there. And also if there's an animal that happens to walk up to them, say an impala, and they're hungry, possibly they might actually take that opportunity, because they are highly opportunistic cats. You know, they might be not willing to go out and hunt, but if something walks their way,
I'm coming out onto Buffalo Scotland now from that
could happen.
Where should I get? Hello, I'm in my clinic at Syria. I'm trying to find out the
Is that Karen? Karen. Hi Karen. Good afternoon to you. Wanting to know, do the males help rear the babies, the cubs? No, they don't, Karen. You might get some form of protection if there is, I don't know, hyenas around or other lions around. You might get the males, if they choose to stay with a certain pride, you might get them protecting the youngsters, but they don't have any hand in rearing them. But what's quite interesting is if you do have males who will spend a lot of time, like the Gajima males spent a lot of time with the Unkahuma females, you will sometimes get the males allowing the very small cubs to actually feed at the carcass, and we actually did. I've seen that a couple of times, and the male is so gentle to the cubs that he's fathered or sired, and these cubs can climb all over him. And I remember watching once, the cubs were playing on his back while he was feeding, and he wasn't allowing any other female anywhere near the carcass. He was growling at them and really putting them in their place, but the cubs were jumping all over the back. They were jumping on the carcass, and at one stage the cub actually jumped on his back, and you could see the claws come out, and you could see him sort of grimace as the claws came out. It was very funny. But he didn't lift a paw. He was very gentle. But same father, same cubs. Once they hit about 4 or 5 months old, I think it was, they started being put in their place, and they weren't allowed to come anywhere near the carcass. They had to eat after even the females. And there was one day he actually knocked one of the cubs into next century. It really was. I was actually quite worried. I thought he might have done some damage to her, and she was sneaking and sneaking and sneaking. She was trying to get as close as she could, and she was, you know, sort of closing that gap. And it's funny because they kind of play this game as if they're not interested. The females do it as well, and they sort of sit down, they look away, and they're like, oh well, I'm not really that interested in feeding, but I'm just going to sit here anyway. And so they play this little game, and the cub was going through these motions, and she's, you know, sort of sneaking forward like this, almost leopard crawling, and he just catches her out the corner of his eye, and his tail starts flicking, and she doesn't take the warning, and she gets closer and closer, and she's almost on a little piece of meat, and he turns round, and she's actually boxed herself in. There was some bush at the back of him, and there was a tree, and he turned round, and actually as he went to hit her, she just backed herself right into the bush, and there was nowhere to go, and he walloped her full on round her head. As I say, I thought he'd knocked her out, and I think she was quite dazed, and I can tell you something, she didn't try it after that. Anybody sitting in the big jackleberry? No. So yes, you don't want to get on the wrong side of Dad. And somebody was asking this morning about a bird squeaking like a tyre, and RC came back to me and said possibly a fork-tailed drongo. I forget who was asking this morning, but if you are on board, it could possibly be a fork-tailed drongo. They do chirp quite high. But they also mimic birds as well. Very good mimics. I've got a squeak in my wheel. That's why it reminded me. Sorry. Carry on. Hi Shirley. Good to hear from you. Welcome on board. And also a bit concerned about the cubs for the Unkahumas. Is there any way we can ask around, or if we heard anything? As soon as we hear anything, surely we post it up on Facebook and try and let you guys know via the drives. I haven't heard anything else. The guides haven't seen or heard anything, because they're pretty good at telling us those sorts of things. But I'll certainly try and ask them again if there's been any updates since they've been away, or since we've been away. But no one's really seen the Unkahumas for a little while, or at least the cubs. So we don't really know. But as soon as we do find out anything, we'll definitely let everybody know. As I say, I know people are going to be very worried. But the sad thing is that is part of lion life. It is part of their nature. And as I say, to be a lion, it's other lions are there. Can you confirm how many in Ghana are there? Thank you. Is there another there?
And then I'll come and join you back there. Yeah, I feel like I can see another Madura
So it sounds like the Matimbas. It's the Matimbas that are at...
So grass cut road just west of Aina Lela. The shortcut is Lela from the north. Baba Nyari is Madura. So thanks very much. Yeah, we'll also let you come back and let you when you get back.
Awesome. We'll get the updates. So, all the Matimbas brought down a buffalo apparently, and that's where those other two are heading. So I shall certainly ask if the pair do feed off of the carcass, and I bet they will do, because she looked very interested in those vultures. I really wouldn't be surprised. So Minerva, hopefully that does answer your question. But I will make doubly sure. I'll ask the guides who go there tonight if they see the pair feeding. So, I'm going to be heading around to where we last saw Karoo and the cubs on Triple M, see if we can have a scratch around there, see if we have any luck with them. Here's hoping. For those people who missed where the lions were, Buffalo's Hook Cut Line is where the pair were, but the Matimbas are actually in Buffalo's Hook in the north. Unfortunately, we're not able to go there. Some beautiful ladies here. Good afternoon, ladies. I wonder where the baboons are. And just to let you guys know, we did postpone the checklist challenge, so don't be checking off any animals just yet. Well, you can do, it's up to you how you want to use your checklist, but just to get you in the swing. Ah, there's the baboons, actually sitting on the roof. So, which antelope are these? Just to wet your whistle. Get you into what's to come. questions@juma.com, subject and what your name is. What antelope are these? Hi, Donna. Did you get charged on quarantine?
No.
As Donna was asking, are they the ones that charged you on
I
quarantine?
tried to explain. I wasn't being charged.
Ah,
Becky was sitting on camera. Those 4 granddaughters of Bibi were in
Oh,
a
the
very
Salalas.
playful mood. And then one young female was stalking close to the vehicle, and I didn't like the way she was looking at Becky, and I discouraged her. We weren't being charged. There was no aggression involved. It was all playful.
so hopefully you heard that, Donna.
No, but Donna probably heard it because somebody said it once. I've been asked by many people who think, because one person said the word charged, so it kind of spread like wildfire, but it wasn't charged.
But it was the Salalas that were involved.
No. Yeah, sorry, the 5 Salalas. Yeah.
I'm just going to pull forward actually, because the
Okay.
youngsters of the Gary gang are in full swing of play. Unfortunately, you get to see the bottom end of the mast, and that's the top end. So if we've got any new viewers on board, that's actually where the signal is being sent to from the Gunda. We've got a big aerial on the back. Signal gets sent, and from there fibre optic cable runs to funnel control, which is not too far from where we are now, and from there gets converted and sent out into various places to Mariskop. So it actually gets sent back to this mast. It gets bumped over to Mariskop where the other antenna is, down onto Hoodspruit, and then from there goes into the pipes, over to Ireland, and then out through the internet. And that is why it blows my mind to think at how far all the information you're seeing has to travel, and when we don't have streaming issues, you're actually seeing it simultaneously. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, there might be a millisecond or a nanosecond delay when we don't have the streaming issues. I mean, it's incredible. Oh, baby's moved. Little Genesis and Evelyn were sitting on the roof. I wonder if you actually move back, you'll be able to see them through that gap. Let's see if they can move. Oh, they're going to come back up onto the roof now. They're going to enjoy Mum. I think that's little Evelyn. Strike a pose. Vogue. Vogue baboon style. And there's little Genesis, a little bit smaller than Evelyn. Okay, I'm going to try and move back so we might be able to see them through that little gap there. Oh, look at that. Move back.
Okay, well,
Oh. That's not nice, pulling on the tail and pulling him down the down the roof. Let's move back a little bit more. It looks like we're at the spa at the moment for baboons. Our little Gary gang. Our little bunch of misfits. Look at that. Now, is that a baboon that's content or what? I think that could be Evelyn, who's actually grooming there. Another little kink in her tail. And there go the kids again. I'm sure she's doing it on purpose. Tag, you're it. Play nice, Evelyn. Sure. Actually, that could be Mrs. Psycho. She also has a bit of a tuft on her head. Tuft of fur. And that'll be Evelyn's mum if it is. Try and move forward a bit again. Let's try and get us through that gap. Okay. Yeah, I think that is Mrs. Psycho. I'm sure Gordy and I think possibly it's Albie that's somewhere else, probably in the garden just below. It was probably Shirley that was actually getting the spa treatment.
Dozing off is gonna
Yeah,
fall.
she is,
Just to
eh?
get the nuts.
It's too much. Is this ringing bells for anybody? She takes no prisoners, does Evelyn? Sure. Come on, get down there. You can actually see it's still a little bit darker than Evelyn. It's probably about 6 months now.
Oh, she woke up.
She doesn't look too impressed. Straight back to sleep again. Oh, shame. I know exactly the same feeling.
Yes.
You're just nodding off and then the Franklins start to call. That was the crested Franklins. Well done, RC, Rosie, Dr. Rita, Vivian and Roy. Oh, no, Roy didn't get it right. Lisa came back with the right answer. Nyala. So we shall... Oh, and then Roy did come back later. Okay, so first answer was Kudu and then came back with Nyala. And there's Shirley. Is that Shirley? Oh, it could be Gordy actually. Actually, yeah, it could be Gordy. His chest looked quite large there. Sure. Come here.
Playing tag.
I'm actually going to bed quite early. Now this particular species, the baboons, will spend all the day out foraging for food, but as soon as night falls they find safety in the trees. And where they're actually sitting is actually on top of the owner of Juma, his house. And this is one of their favourite sleeping spots. Now it could be because it's fenced. It provides extra protection, and I do think they know that. They know that leopards are less likely to get them in this area. Unfortunately, a couple of their favourite trees blew down in a big storm earlier on in the year. It could be that they're actually related. It could be that they share the same father. Yeah. Shame. It looks like she's had a very long day. She probably had her hands full.
Where are you? On a long pole. Take Grasscut Road south towards the provincial boundary. That's east of our plant, Grasscut Road.
Oh.
That actually might be one of the talalas.
Sorry?
That female might be one of the talalas.
Could be. I didn't even think of the saladas. I think she's going to sleep well tonight.
Saturday night. I thought that morning anymore. The night on the other side shows that. Okay, so that's it.
Guess the she dozes off something.
Oh, both ears. I'm quite glad I'm not a baboon, hey?
Actually pulling her tail.
Oh, shame. I've been waiting for that.
They're pulling on her tail on the back of the roof there. Sort of like as it's a rope.
Yeah.
To climb up.
So pack it in. Could be with the abundance of leaves, especially with some of rain that's actually brought out a few insects as well. They've probably had. Oh, let's see, now you're in for it. Oh, she's let him go. But maybe they've actually had quite a good meal today. Maybe that's why, with it being overcast as well, they've headed back to the safety area. Shame, she really looks like she's all in, hey?
Gordy, if you could only see how Gordy is lying.
Oh yeah.
Like he's on a beach.
Actually, Gordy's taken to his role really well, I think. He's heading up the group now that Tankman's gone, who would be the father of those two little ones that have been running around on the roof. But he's taken over the dominant male position. He's looking out for the troop. It just goes to show, living in a family. Oh! Standing by.
Right now, my daughter and one Mafazi. So Mafazi and the other my daughter is not here.
Okay, copy. Thank you. So yeah, as I say, living in a family does have its advantages. And all working together to make sure everyone stays safe. And when they're moving between areas, they check it out, they use the trees, they use termite mounds.
Station on first stand by door and down above coming.
At least she can let the kids run around in relative safety at the moment. Okay. She is being so rough with him.
But he doesn't seem to be minding them.
No, he
hasn't
doesn't.
squealed once.
No. I suppose he has been giving as good as he's getting. Now, just like lions, if different baboon males come in and take over a troop, you may get the dominant males killing the offspring. Now, with Gordy, he's grown up with these kids, and I think possibly, you know, even though Tankman's no longer there, there's no reason for him to, you know, try and state his claim almost to the ladies. And actually, the relationships are a lot more complex than what it first seems. And it could be, I think he does have a good relation, or he's always had a good relationship with the ladies. And it could be that he's wanting to keep that relationship with them so that when they do come into estrus next time, you know, they won't push him away. So it's worth him just keeping that relationship and actually being part of the troop. She's getting so irritated.
But only with Evelyn.
Oh shit. Sumac saying it does remind her of herself with her kids. And say, I wonder how many of you out there are knowing how she feels.
They've got to play right on top of it.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if, because I'm fairly sure this is Mrs. Psycho. I'm fairly sure, as I say, it is quite difficult to tell the individuals apart. I can usually tell if I see which baby's with which mum. Oh, there you go, yeah. So this is Shirley then. So that just blew all of what I've just said out of the water. This is Shirley. Genesis' mum. And the fact that she was actually grooming Gordy shows that they are building that relationship. Because she is the... But she's the alpha female, and now that Gordy is the alpha male, that's a good relationship to have. Jog, come in. Sorry, confirm, where's the Madura and Mafazi now?
They're on the bumper at the moment.
Copy, are they Gushlering?
Yeah, I hope. There's not a lot left, but they are...
There we go. So, thank you very much. So the Matimba and the female are actually feeding on the buffalo carcass at the moment. So there you go, Minerva. They will feed if circumstances are good. Okay, let's leave the Gowrie gang. I'm sure Mrs. Psycho is around somewhere, and LB possibly on the other side of the house there. Miss Mac. Miss Mac's class are on board. I hope you enjoyed the Baboons. Miss Mac, this is a very good book. Miss Mac wants to know a good book for identifying the animals. This is the one, I've got a lot of different mammal guides. Mammals are certainly my first love. And this one I've found is a really nice book. It tells you a little bit about the animals, not too much. It's got really nice photographic guides. As I say, there are other books out there, but this one I've found is a very nice one. So Field Guide to Mammals of Southern Africa, Kristen Tilde Stewart. If I open it up, that's what it looks like. If I open it up, let's get to a nice page. So we've got the vervet monkeys here. So on each page you do have a picture, and then there's usually just a page worth of information there. So if I show you, because you're asking about for the antelope, if I can get to the antelope. There you go. And what's really nice is they seem to put the antelope that looks similar together, so you can actually see the differences. So we've got the springbok, which we don't get here, and the impala, and these two you do tend to get mixed up with. So it's showing you the two there. And actually the impala don't have the white face, and they have more of a cream belly rather than white, and it doesn't really come up as far as what it does on the springbok. And you can see quite nicely, so you've got the white belly here and the black stripe, which is what the impala don't have. So the white face, the white, and this stripe. And this is a female, and that's the male. And there you go, that's nice. The impalas. Let's start the first page. Just showing you the difference between male and female there. So this is the one I'd recommend. I say it gives you all the information, height and weights, that sort of thing, identification, description about them, distribution, food, habitat, behaviour, a little bit about the behaviour, and anything else that you might need to know about it. But as I say, just a nice little bite size. A very nice little book. I'm seeing blue sky.
And then you turn back and it looks like you wanted to go north, so I think he's somewhere on that road. Okay, so people.
So yeah, I was just starting to talk about relationships with baboons, unless we do have any baboon questions. Don't think we have any baboon questions. But the relationships with the baboons, as I say, with more and more research that's going on, have come out quite complex. And even Graham, when he's studying the baboons, unfortunately he doesn't live here anymore, so he doesn't get a chance to see the baboons as much as he used to. But at one stage, when there was as many males as there was females, each of them actually paired up. But what you can get a baboon troop much larger than what we have the Garrigan. Garrigan's very small, but you can get sometimes even 100 Chacma baboons living together. And the males are in charge, and you get maybe 3, 4, 5 big dominant males. And they'll have relationships with high-ranking females. You might get lower-ranking females also having a relationship with the higher-ranking males. You might also have the females having relationships with low-ranking males, and what can happen is those low-ranking males might become friends with the females, and they may even protect the youngsters in times of need, in the hope that maybe at some stage that female might mate with him. And what was quite interesting is when they were pairing off, it's not really been seen before. Oh, giraffe. I see the giraffe. I don't know if we're going to see them through. Can you see them through there?
Yeah.
Hello, giraffe. It's like a couple of males there. And the ever-present fork-tailed drongos. This is the little bird I was mentioning earlier that could be what sounds like a squeaky wheel around by Gary Dam. Those little black birds. So it's quite funny. I've not seen them sitting on the animals here, but on my old reserve you used to find them sitting on wildebeest and the impala, and almost like a bit like an oxpecker. And maybe it was because of the lack of the oxpeckers. Maybe that's what it is. It just suddenly dawned on me. Maybe the oxpeckers become quite territorial over the animals. Maybe. They get chased off. So to say, we didn't have many oxpeckers in that area, if any. I think there was one or two pairs. You very rarely saw them. But there was a lot of drongos. And they don't really go for the ticks. If there's one that they happen to see, they might just pick it off. But really what they're looking out for is any insects disturbed by the animal they're on. And it could be that they were sitting on the animals just so they don't have to waste energy flying around. But maybe that's what it is. There's a lot of oxpeckers here. And maybe if a fork-tailed drongo has ever tried to sit on an animal, they might chase them off. So they have to wait and sit on a branch and wait for the animals to move. And so, especially during the winter time, you'll often find the drongos following vehicles and people on foot. I like it when a light bulb goes on. It's like a bing! Eureka moment. I think the giraffes are really enjoying all the new vegetation on those acacias. On those acacias. Okay, we are losing light fairly rapidly, and I would like to head round towards the area where we left Karula and the cubs. Thanks, giraffe. Southern giraffe. Look, springboks on the right. Made you look. Hello, ladies. Very difficult to age a female impala. But if you know what to look for, then you can actually age them. And one of the ways is actually the length of their skull. So as they get older, the length of the skull increases. So we can actually take a measurement. Sure, they're very heavily pregnant. It really isn't going to be too far off before we start seeing the first baby impala of the season. Magic. Got a few just watching. What are you seeing? Possibly just being extra specially careful because there's a lot of tall grass there that could hide a lion or a leopard. So it pays to be vigilant. You see the eyes just on the side of the head, and that allows them to see almost 360 degrees. If you've got one eye on one side of the head and one eye on the other side, you can see down the nose and almost to the back of the ear, and that's brilliant for detecting predators. So even though she's looking at us, she's going to be able to see what's off to the side. You see the movement in the neck. You watch the movement in the neck, she might just regurgitate her food again. Remember, she chews the cud. She's a bit like a cow. She has a 4-chambered stomach. And if you watch the neck very closely, you might just see that food coming back up as she starts to re-chew. She's going to be the only one that doesn't do it now. A few of them are watching something.
Something that stopped the whole herd.
Confirm where that drone was heading, north or east or west?
A lot of them are actually watching us now. Well, whatever stopped them in the tracks, they're not too bothered by it because they keep putting their heads down to eat. She's really not too sure about it. It's alright, lady. We not a threat. As we get to Impala Plains, we might be able to see the sky quite nicely. Saw him too late. Grey hornbill was sitting on the side. So, I'm going to try and attempt to go in, scratch around. As I say, I'm not sure if Karu's really going to be there, but you never know, we might be lucky. But I think she would have moved off. But I would like to check that area to see if the cubs came back over towards Impala Plains. They were close towards Simbambili. They'd actually crossed over this morning. Hi, Bill. Ooh, little bee eaters. Just sitting right on close to the ground, actually.
I still kind of feel them when we were going on.
Yeah. Bill just wants to know what mammal guide it was. It's a field guide to mammals of southern Africa by Chris and Tilde Stewart. You see it? It's just there.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Oh, there. I was waiting to see it fly.
Such a beautiful little bird. Look at that. Oh. It's actually quite funny. You'll see, especially in the very, very early morning or late in the afternoon when it's cold, especially in the winter time. Hello. Sitting right next to the vehicle. How's that?
Come on, focus already.
You'll see them all huddling together. You can see that long bill. And that actually stops them getting stung if they do catch a bee. He might just come back to the same branch. Yep, where he was before. That's known as hawking. And they return back to the same branch. And they're actually catching small insects at the moment and hitting them on the side of the branch. And they'll do that with bees, and when they do catch a bee, they'll hit it on the side of the branch so that the sting falls out, and then they can eat the bee without being stung. See, they're using its tail as a balance. So little bee eater. Little bee eater. There we go. Back to the same branch. There we go. It doesn't look like he was successful that time. It's probably one of the easiest bee eaters to identify because of the striking yellow and then green, and you can see that beautiful black bar underneath on the chin. If you actually look very close, you can just about see that little speck of blue above the eye. But other than that, it's a yellow and green bird.
Blue eyeliner.
Yeah, blue eyeliner. where the rest of the flock went. Looks like it's on his own. Oh, there's a big insect. I wonder if it's gonna spot it. It's actually hovering right above it. It doesn't look like it had spotted it. Oh, wonderful. The bee-eaters, I think, are definitely some of my favourite birds. I could sit and watch them for hours doing this. Beautiful. So, we are on Zoe's Road. We're going to head down towards Impala Road, Impala Plains, pop out the other side on Triple M. Marla Main is what it stands for, Triple M. I was hoping maybe the honey badgers might be around here. Haven't seen any of the tracks for a little while. Or maybe even the aardvark. Now that would be wonderful to see. There's plenty of termite mounds for them around here. Just flew off. Could have been a buzzard actually. A bustard. Not a buzzard. Good afternoon. Any stations relocated Charisma and Pimpans this afternoon? Anybody out there? Nope. Doesn't sound like anybody's tried to go and find the two cubs. They'll know this area pretty well. I mean, she spent a lot of time in the first months of their lives in this area, over on the western side, but not too far in actually. Managed to get our hands on a map the other day and have a look to see where Red Dam was and the other places that we heard, and it literally was probably less than 100 meters that she was actually in that strip. We're just far enough away that we weren't able to see them, huh? I won't go back. I have no fear. Well spotted.
Oh,
Yeah, just there.
yeah, just trying to get to
And the parents know we've spotted it, I think. Look at that. Crown plover chick. And that's the parents calling. Now if I was to walk up to that chick, I would probably have a big fight on my hands from the parents.
head's bigger than the body.
Yeah, it is, eh? And look how well, once it actually sits down in the bush, look how well it will blend in.
They're hatchlings. They've probably only come out today.
I think so, eh?
Well, they were frightened out when with the lightning storm.
Yeah, they're also frightened out the eggs. Look at that, tiny. We're doing well for babies today, hey? Sure. That lightning storm really did do something. They're all head and legs.
You see where the other one is? I've only been following the one. I saw two when we stopped.
I did see... Oh, there's the other one. It's actually just in front of that one that you're in. That one you've got. No, left. There they. You got both.
Now.
Yeah. Hi, Linda B. Good to hear from you. I hope you're well. And yes, Mishu was seen by the guides yesterday. We didn't know the full ins and outs yesterday, but I was talking to Henry last night, and he said that they had his tracks on Zoe's Road. Looks like he walked around the back of our camp into the drainage line and actually headed off towards the lodge, and he found Mishu on Mvubu Road, and they stuck with him for a little while. And then he went back into the donga, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since, so he might be in that donga, he might not be.
Well, that must have been his kill that hyena stole.
Could well have been, actually.
Well, it sounded, if he was on Zoe's Road and he went to our camp, it would have taken him straight past where they killed him.
Yeah, exactly. So it could well have been that kill, his kill from yesterday morning that got stolen by the hyenas. But he takes after his mother in that regard. He doesn't always tree his kills. So we managed to get the pictures, or see the pictures from the guests. Well, I actually haven't. I've seen a couple of them, and it did look like Mishu to me. I just wanted to confirm.
So it does look like it?
Huh?
So it does look like it?
Does look like it's Mishu. And the guides also had a look at the pictures apparently this morning. And I think Sulina also had a look at the pictures. They're also saying it's definitely looks like Mishu. Apparently he's got a bit of a scratch on his nose, so I wonder if he was out and about, ran into a big male leopard, had a bit of a fight, and he's come home because he's got into a fight. So this is apparently actually a little bit further down. It's fine where the tracks go off this side. be anywhere around your car. I'm gonna have a quick look.
It's not where Karula was. Huh? It's not where Karula was.
No, I think the cubs were here, a bit further down.
Yeah.
Sounds like the jack falling off. Ah. Okay, fair enough. We are back. Where we were this morning, Karula was further south than this. But when we were with her, they said no, the cubs are further north. Yeah, so I saw it. I'm gonna pull an Austin Powers. .68 turn. How's it?
I don't know.
Good,
Good,
good.
and you?
How you doing? Oh, is that where they are? Okay. Sorry? Oh no. Oh, is she? Oh, okay, I thought I'd have a check in here, see if the cubs were in here, yeah. I think we were just in too much of a dip, so I don't think anyone heard me on the radio. Oh, okay, so we won't be able to see her from this side now. Yeah, okay. Cool, thank you. That's just saved me a few minutes of looking anyway. Thanks, eh?
I'm leaving this Galano Kaput, the magic bar is up on the road. Where
Okay. Yeah, I do now. Sorry, you've got what, sorry? Just getting something in front of FC. Could be. There's something in front of FC. Seb, come in.
What channel is it?
It's on 1. Oh, he's got Leopard. Leopard in front of Final Control.
It's him.
Do you think it's Mishu? down the tree, jump on it, stop him. Okay,
By the time we get back, he'll be out, coming out on the forest.
yeah. It's going into the drainage line. Okay, Karula is... So, the guy we just met from Elephant Plain said we're probably not going to see her. Lindsay's also just on the termite mound on the other side. So when I said to him, are we going to be able to see him? A lot of people want to try and see Mishu. It's just saved us quite a lot of looking and searching in this area. I wonder if he's been hanging out, because you've been hearing Franklin's the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Also heard a squirrel yesterday. I'm certainly going to try my best to see if we can find Mishu. Becky was asking earlier on about animals. Seb said he tried to stop him. So you didn't tie the tail to the tree quick enough, did you? Which direction did he go in, Seb? Did he go back into the drainage line? Back into the drainage line next to Graham's house. Did he look like he may have been going up towards Gallego Shortcut or back towards the lodge? Okay. So Seb was the lucky one. And he would do it as we're down this side. Oh well.
At least we're not at level of there.
Well, yeah, this is also true. Just heard possibly Mishu around by Final Control. Just heard from... Is it? No, we haven't seen any Yati this time. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I'll let you know. Apparently he was just seen briefly just by Final Control, so we're going to go and have a look.
Okay, there's two pimp and crown plovers there. Okay.
Yeah. Enjoy. So Becky was asking about animals dispersing. Oh, shame. There goes the Quran again by the looks of it. And Mishu is around, just coming up for 3 years old now. It'll be 3 in November. Son of Karula. And he left probably about, when he was about 2.5, he left to go and wander around. And as I say, it's quite unusual that he's come back, but it could be, as I say, he may have run into a big male and he knows this is a safe area. Maybe he hasn't been chased out by his father or his mother. He just went wandering around, so he feels that this is a safe area. Could be that he's just come back. But at some stage you might actually start to be pushed out by Karula or Yambili, his father, especially if he started to spray and scent mark. That's not going to go down too well with his father or his mother. But very interesting that he's come back. Very, very interesting. Sorry, Hornbill, we're on a mission. But good afternoon, Gail. Welcome on board. I'm wanting to know, do bee-eaters migrate? Some species do, some species don't. Carmine do.
We should have a guess the date to the first. Actually, no, I saw European already at home.
Have you seen European? European also. European, as the name suggests, they head over to Europe. And I actually thinking about it, I did hear European a couple of days ago. Just overhead. You might get... Oh, sorry little bird.
Ooh, you're bunting.
Oh, what have you got? He's got something. He got?
That's good.
Gone.
That's
Flycatcher.
good.
Flycatcher's got something in his mouth. Oh. You lost me. How did you lose me? You shouldn't lose me. Are we back?
What?
Are we back?
You just get back.
Oh. That was odd. You shouldn't lose me there.
What did we lose?
Yeah, he lost us.
And it's back.
And we found again. Sure, this road feels very long now.
Once was lost, now found. Ah.
Wait for us, Mishu. We're on our way. Huh?
Good.
Oh, yes. I'm turning around to say what? Sorry, Kudu. I'm turning around to say what to you, and I'm not seeing a kudu on the other side here. Oh dear.
Okay.
There's actually a couple of big bulls. Hopefully we'll see them as we go around this next corner. There's going to be a gap here. There we go. Nice big gap there. Straight through there. That one at the back.
Following that one.
Oh. There. He was just looking at us straight through that gap there. So we had the Nyala females. This is the kudu, the males with the spiral horns. There's the other bull. Oh, magnificent animals. Truly magnificent. Okay, Mishu is calling. We'll go and check out Gallego shortcut. And just to let you know, looks like we're actually going faster than what we are. We're actually still going under the game drive speed, which is usually 20 k's, and we're probably about 15
You'd be
k's.
passing cars on the M1 outside London.
I am. I'm lying. We're doing 40. No, but
No, you would, because it's traffic jams.
well, yeah, that's also true. But with the field of view on your on the camera, it's quite small, so it actually looks like we're flying, but we're actually not. We're actually just doing normal game drive speed at the moment. The speed that we usually do is much less than other game drives. As I say, it just feels, and that's why we actually do very slow, very, very slow, because it does feel like you're zooming if you're doing this. This is the normal game drive speed now, and it feels like you're flying past. Huh? Do what?
Well, the big kudu bull, I was saying, it's a big one.
Oh.
It's a giant, bigger than a giraffe.
Bigger than a giraffe? Sure.
But if the giraffe was standing much further away. Okay, Miss, you come onto wheels access.
Or Galego shortcut. Okay, we need to try Galego shortcut. So yeah, because I can imagine there's some people going, oh, she's speeding around there. She nearly ran into the kudu. No, just looks like it. Okay, Mishu. Tell you what, do you want to run down that way and I'll drive around this way?
Okay, Jim, read the thing.
The reason why we would love to see this cat is because he might not pop up again. He might stick around for a couple of days, he might not, he might just decide to go.
Oh, yeah,
There he is.
Just spotlight out.
Can't pop out.
Issue.
No. Okay, let me go back to the road.
Yeah. Going to those Impala.
Yeah, you might well do actually. If this is Misha, I didn't see the spots too well. Do you see them?
No, I just saw the tail and Mishu line.
I'll say he might stick around for a few days, he might head off. There's no knowing, but with him being 3 years old, this is the normal time for him. This is the normal time for him to go. See, it's quite symmetrical down his back. Stations one Madoda Ingwe. Voyatella access Lego shortcut. Where did he go? Affirmative. Yeah, that is Mishu. Fantastic. Unfortunately, he is heading towards the Impala, so I really don't want to keep the spotlight on him past this point. So it is going to get dark. Well done, Seb. Awesome. Okay, where did he go? No, he's there. He's there.
Okay, thank you.
Could we gonna see him as well?
Yeah. Stations, it's one Madoda Ingwe, it's Mishu.
On my way, I'm on Gary Better.
She's still...
Heading where?
Still quite far from the impala at this stage. Okay, let me just pull forward again. Come on, Misha, you're gonna come out. This should be quite a nice spot to see him. And so I don't want to ruin his chances of hunting. You can see the spot uniform down his back. Very characteristic of Mishu.
Confirm as those in dollar color. Leopard. I thought I find one whatever in the killer expert. Shall I cut donkey? Take up something.
He's still there, I can still see him. Gonna come round across the road. Unfortunately, at this stage I don't want to put the spotlight on him because the impala are actually just on the right hand side. And so we don't want to spoil any chances for this boy. Hello, beautiful boy. Okay, I'm just going to move again so that we can see him across this bit of the road as well. And some people asking about fireside chat. We're going to be doing fireside chat on Sunday. So Sunday is going to be when fireside chat is going to happen. We were thinking of Wednesday, but with a few things that happened, and we thought we'd give Seb a bit of time to get over his illness as well, and a couple of other things, so we decided Sunday will be the day. There we go, he's seen the impala. Okay. I'm just going to try and, I'm not going to be right on his tail, but I'm just going to move a little bit forward. So if anything does happen, we're going to be able to see it. As I say, at this stage I'm not going to be using the spotlight, so I appreciate it's going to be a bit dark for you. But we don't want to alert the impala to his presence by putting the spotlight on him. Where I had the spotlight, the impala couldn't see him. He was hidden by the vegetation. So the impala is still on the mound. Yeah, I was just seeing if we were better off going this way, but just in case he decides not to go. I think the impala have seen him. He's not actually keeping as low to the ground as I thought he would. And he is a lot smaller than in Duna. Yeah, impala's just picked him up. Just heard that alarm call. Almost did say, oh, what was that? I'm convinced I saw the Y at the corner of his eye. That's not going to help you now. They've seen you. Leaving it. Could be they just decided they weren't in the right position for him to go and hunt. Is he this far down? Now they've seen him.
Unfortunately, looking into the monitor ruined my night.
Try a little bit further down the road. With solo ground, and he slunk off, and I don't know how I'm going down the road, but I think maybe he went into this thick patch of vegetation here. Stations Wamadorda Ingwe Famba down on Zoe's Road from Voyatella access. Just lost visual, I'm trying to relocate now. Oh, there he is. Copy, yeah, I've just regained visual. He's just Vambering south on Zoe's Road.
Okay.
There he is. You know what? I think he must have been the owner of that kill.
Coming towards you.
Yeah, no, I'm just going past the tree for you.
He's on a mission.
He is, hey?
Straight to Karula.
Very much on a mission. See if Mum's got anything to eat. Sure. So this may be the last time we see him. Or he may stick around. I sure hope he does. It would be wonderful to have him around for a little bit longer. Maybe see some interaction.
Awfully small formation. Not much of Umbalana.
Well, I'm convinced well, it would be nice to actually see pitch at screen caps.
There's a tree, won't it?
Oh. You get no.
much.
No worries.
Thank you.
No worries. I say I'm open to correction, but with having the cubs that side, sorry?
The spotlight's dead.
Oh, his. In and around the back of this termite mound here.
That's hard to find out.
We're getting into very thick bush here.
Just walked across Henry's life.
Yeah, I'm going to try and go in a little bit further down. I'll try and get one last view of him, but otherwise I may have to.
Lights on.
Oh, that would help, wouldn't it? Ta-da! I think this is actually where we came out this morning. I think it could be. Okay. There he goes. Yeah, he's just going now. We're going to leave him. He's going into very thick bush. And he has... See, I thought he was actually going to walk maybe this way, and I was hoping he would walk down in
He's
this
going to
open
come
area.
out onto Impala Plains soon.
Yeah.
In fact, you can tell Abel if you can.
But I think I am actually hearing the inverter beep as well.
Now it's been going for about half an hour.
Yeah, I think we've had a nice sighting of him. He is moving, so I think let's leave him. But yes, if anybody did get any screen captures, please definitely post them and let's see if it definitely... I thought I saw the Y next to his eye. I've not looked at Shivambalana to see if the spots down his back are identical, but that definitely down his back looked like Mishu. Let's say it would have been nice for him to stop and actually give us a moment to see his spots. But I'm fairly convinced it's him. I am fairly convinced. Whether it's wishing, but definitely I think absolutely fantastic if it is him. And as I say, I will stand corrected if it's not. But hopefully you enjoyed seeing him as much as we did. I still can't believe it. Well done, Seb. Definitely. If Seb didn't give us the heads up, we probably would have missed him completely. So well done, Seb. And definitely wonderful to see the lions this afternoon too, and the Gowrie gang as well. It's really been a lot of the old familiars, which has been wonderful this afternoon. It's certainly been a great day here at Juma Game Reserve. I hope you've enjoyed it. Lots of babies, a baby elephant this morning, the crown plovers. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So take care everybody, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for all your questions, Thank you for being a part of this wonderful experience. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks, Mark, for your camera work. Thanks, Seb. Back in final control. My name's Tara, and you've been on the Juma Safaris. Bye, everybody.